How's it going, guys? It's me, the Dome Taku, here today to talk about the next episode of ReZero, episode 9. And must I say that this episode, or not this episode, this series continues to hit me right here in my feels, my heart right here. Because, you know, after discovering 24 episodes and whatnot, I feel so okay that, you know, they're taking so much time to developing this arc and whatnot. And, you know, all the shit that happened in this arc. So, for one, I think this is actually a conclusion to the arc, and I don't know if my voice changed right there, but I was easily. But yeah, I think this is the conclusion to the arc. One, because I'm surprised that they sort of found out that it was sort of like a different, like everything after this whole episode blew my mind because it was not the way I expected it in a sort of sense. But I think that this is the farthest that Subaru has gotten, and no, even though that dang cliffhanger happened in the ending, I have faith that this is the end of the arc, and Subaru actually lives in the ending, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And yeah, because like for one, after going through everything that he's done through, this is like, you know, last episode he killed it, like he had that awesome restart, and he was like so dedicated to and resolved to solve this situation. And that this episode, like, you know, I thought he was gonna do it this episode, and like this is the furthest he's gotten in this episode because there are things that happened that didn't happen, like the Master Rosewald, I think his name is, leaving the mansion, like he said, and then both of the sisters going with him to the village, and then yeah, like this is the furthest he's gotten in this arc, and to see him die in the end because of some dogs. No, I cannot accept that, and that's why, like, for one, that's why I think that, you know, he's alive. And next episode, we'll see that he woke up because he got saved by Ram or maybe Amelia or someone else, right? So one of the things that this episode really did really amazingly was expand so much on like this whole universe and whatnot. For one, because like you have like these villagers, you have like a barrier that, you know, oh, monsters live in the forest and whatnot, like magic beasts, and like it's so awesome that like we're learning so much and progressing the story at the same time. Because for one, I think like in this episode that he develops like a really good trust and bond with Rem and Ram on like this arc and this timeline, because, you know, last episode he was like crying and whatnot, and this was it. Like I've had a feeling this was it. And the curse was, I don't know if this is legit or not. So my doubt on this episode is that the curse came from this random dog from the forest, or magic beast from the forest. Now, if this is the thing that supposedly kills Rem in the alternate timeline or alternate universe, I don't think that's the case, because it seems too easy that, well, maybe because Subaru dies all those times in actually it does make sense, because you know, in the first parts, you know, Subaru dies because he's inflicted with this curse that we thought was because of someone from the household, but I assumed that. And then, you know, after it was like happening over and over again until Rem kills Subaru, you know, so I was like, oh, you know, Rem is the one casting the curse on Subaru, and then, you know, he tried to run away and he killed her, right? Or he killed him, and then next time we see that Rem dies from the curse instead, so it's like, oh man, so there is something out there happening, right? So then after this episode, he was saying that, oh, the curse comes from the village. And I guess it makes sense that this curse came from, whatchamacallit, the dog, and then it came to the kids, and that somehow kills Ram in the alternate timeline. But then, because of that curse, like, you know, Subaru got bit in the hand exactly 3 times, right? Or in alternate universes, and he dies. So yeah, it sort of makes sense a little bit that the dog is the reasoning for the curse. But I mean, I think what I'm trying to say here is that it was kind of like meh that the whole thing that caused this whole situation was one random magic beast dog from the forest. Like, if so, then I mean, by all means, like, dang, they got us there. It was like, you know, it's just a random animal demon thing from the forest, and that cursed, that happened to trick the kids into cursing Subaru, then killing everyone. And like the whole cause of this arc was a dog. Like, that's so hard to grasp in a sort of sense. But, you know, like in the end, like we saw some really unique things with Rem and transforming into her like demon self, like going all devil mode or something like that, and then like beating the crap out of all those dogs. And I gotta say, like, Subaru for himself can put up a fight. Like, he freaking trapped that dog and killed it on that tree trunk. That was awesome. And then Rem comes in with her little iron mace thing. I don't know what the thing is called, with like a giant spike ball and chain upon it, but yeah. And then, you know, like the really emotional part in this episode was the ending, where Subaru sort of like has that speech to Rem and is like, you know, even though I'm trying to earn your trust, I'm trying to make you like me, and then like, you know, I know you have questions for me, you doubt me, and like I'm trying to save these kids. Like, you see Rem and Subaru bonding in this time, this whole episode, and like, you know, we didn't have that until episode 6, was it, when he goes shopping with her that one time. But yeah, like, this is so emotional. And then, you know, at the end when you see whatchamacallit, Rem get hit by the landslide, like, I was like, ah, shit, is she dead? Like, did Subaru actually live through this universe, but then Rem dies instead, and then he's gonna go die and then try to save both of them with the same outcome? No, it didn't happen. Actually, Rem comes back from the, not from the dead, but she gets up and then goes all yandere devil mode and then beats the crap out of everything. But then Subaru has to push her and save her away from some dogs, where he gets bit, and it's just like, oh shoot, is Subaru gonna die by getting ripped apart from dogs? And then like, no, Rem saves him, he passes out, and that's what the episode ends. But you know, as I said in the beginning, I think that he lives, and that, you know, it's that at this point that he earns the trust of both Rem and everyone in the household, and that he successfully lives throughout the house, and he found the source of the curse. I hope he lives throughout that little incident that happened here with the dogs. And I hope that, you know, next episode we'll have a conclusion to this arc, because I don't know how many episodes this is. This is like 5, 6 episodes now in this arc. Like, I don't remember, but you know, hey, that's just me and whatnot. We'll see what happens next week. If he really does die, then he's gonna do all this stuff over again and find out the source of the dog being the curse, or you know, he lives and then he resolves this whole arc with some good trust from everyone else, and you know, actually continuing the story and not dying anymore, thankfully. So anyways, guys, what did you guys think about this episode? I thought it was really good and emotional, because at the end, like, I really invested with every single character in the household, like Subaru is, like, you know, with Rem and Ram. Like, I'm starting to like, I'm really liking them, and Subaru's just freaking awesome as a character. And you know, what do you guys think is gonna happen next week? Do you think he's dead? Do you think he lived? What do you guys think? So anyways, guys, subscribe, because next week I will be finding out just if my assumptions were right or wrong, and I'm gonna cry if I'm wrong. Yeah, you know, if you have any questions, leave in the comment section below, or tell me at my Twitter at @TheDomotaku, and tell me what you guys thought about this episode. I'll see you guys on the next video on the Domotaku, and ciao. So take care, guys, and matane.